Today we're going to look at the relationship between the amount of ground control points placed and the accuracy achievable with drone photogrammetry that is geo-referenced. We are also going to look at the accuracy achievable by using RTK tagged images only and seeing how much that accuracy is increased by slowly adding in ground control points. The first subject area we're going to look at is 100 acres. There is about 50 meters or 150 feet of topographical relief between the highest and lowest points. And I set 16 ground control points, which I tied with RTK GPS, 2 observations at each, and averaging them while I was set up at a base station. And after setting those GCPs, I immediately flew the site with a Mavic 3 Enterprise connected to the same base station. So here I'm going over some of the flight parameters. You can see I flew at 80 meters above ground. I'm flying at a speed of 5 meters per second. And this gives us an estimated time of flight of 45 minutes with 800 images. So here I'm briefly running through the process I used to connect to my base station. I'm using a Trimble R10 base station. So I log into Trimble's GUI graphical user interface. I set my height of target. And then I set the latitude and longitude and ellipsoidal height of my base station. Note that I am using ellipsoidal height here, and when I process my imagery later, at that point I will apply the geoid. I also need to change the change it to Ntrip Caster 1 and enable RTCM and use version 3.2. And that's all that's needed to now connect to that Trimble R10 base station. So at this point, I am receiving RTK corrections from my base station. And to verify that, I can go into the DJI Pilot 2 app and confirm that I am getting that fixed position on the Mavic 3 Enterprise. You can see I've taken off here and I'm flying to the start of my mission, and it's starting to collect images. So a quick note about GCPs. For this project, I used my template that I built out of 1/2-inch plywood. It's a 13-inch diameter circle with a 1.5-inch center dot. So I found that this is a fairly good size target when flying up to 80 meters. Anything up to or below 80 meters, 12, 13 inches seems to work well. I like to use painted GCPs because I have ran into issues in the past where I've set GCPs, and by the time I get up flying, someone's come by and moved them or kicked them or taken them away thinking it's trash. When I set these, I know they're not moving, and I know with the paint I use, they'll be there for a week. Ever since I switched over to using this template, I haven't had anyone upset that I'm painting up the road or sidewalks. The paint doesn't last long and it doesn't look bad. But a note I would like to point out is that the color of paint that you use makes a large difference here. So I'm going to briefly look at another flight that I did where I painted up 4 colors of ground control points with the same target. So here we're looking at 2 images of the same location on the same day. The image on the right, there's a lot more sun came out. As you can see in the shadowing, the image on the left, the clouds covered the sun and we had better conditions for photogrammetry. And you can see the image on the left. We'll look at that first. The red is by far the best and the most clear GCP there. The orange, the center mark is almost indistinguishable. And there's significant distortion in the white and blue. And I'll note I didn't have any pink paint on me at the time, but it reacts very similar to orange paint. So that's as good of a case scenario as it really gets for picking these GCPs. On this image on the right, which is a different flight line, the sun came out and it cast a bunch more shadows and overexposed the road. And you can see here, it's hard to believe that this is actually the same area, but it is, and you can see that the other colors of ground control points have pretty much disappeared. This is fairly typical of what I see when setting GCPs. Red by far performs the best, so I just wanted to make a quick side note. When you are painting up GCPs, the color of the paint that you use makes a huge difference. The methodology I chose to use to determine how accurate the data I get from each flight is, I would bring the exported ortho image into Civil 3D. I would draw a circle around the GCP and create a Civil 3D point at the center of that circle that defines where I believe I took the RTK shot. That would define the horizontal position of that point. The vertical position would be defined by going into Cloud Compare and picking out the elevation of the nearest point on the cloud and using that as the elevation. Once I have those coordinates, I would bring them into Excel and compare the observation I had from the RTK GPS via my rover and these coordinates here. I didn't want to rely on my photogrammetry processing software to directly tell me the accuracy of the checkpoints. I wanted to directly use my export data, the data that I would use and give the client, and pull the positions off of that data directly. First, we'll talk about using GCPs only. So for the GCP flights, I ignored the positioning of the images and only relied on the GCP data I had from my RTK rover shots, and the results weren't too surprising. So obviously, as you added more GCPs in, your accuracy increased. So the way I'm defining accuracy is comparing the RTK rover shot with the position acquired from the previously mentioned technique. So you can see at 3 GCPs, the horizontal accuracy actually isn't too bad. So this blue line defines the horizontal accuracy in relation to how many GCPs were used. So the horizontal accuracy was resolved fairly quickly. Even at 3 GCPs per 100 acre, you can see I'm already at 7 centimeters. And once I add in my 4th GCP, that got cut in half to 35 mils. And after the 5th GCP, it doesn't really increase noticeably. Vertical, on the other hand, it makes a steady decline up until we hit 5 GCPs, at which case it's 13 centimeters, which I still feel is not good enough. I added in a 6 GCP and it didn't change much. But once we got to 10, at that point, the vertical accuracy had pretty much resolved, and I hadn't seen further increases from adding in more GCPs. For RTK only flights, I actually flew that site along with 2 other sites. So these 2 other sites were about 20 acres each. They were both flown from a different base station. They were both in different areas and different times of the day with different GPS constellations. So these 3 that I'm highlighting now show you the horizontal and vertical accuracy from those flights. As you can see, between those 3 flights alone, using no GCPs at all, strictly the RTK observation in the metadata of the photos, one could argue I'm already better than the fully constrained GCP flight from before. So right here, this value here is the same 100 acre site, and you can see that the values are actually lower than when I'm using all the GCPs. As I added in more GCPs into the 100 acre site, I didn't see an increase in accuracy. It either stayed the same or got slightly worse. I want to stress here that we're talking mils and we're using GPS. So in reality, I couldn't definitively say it got worse or got better. I couldn't definitively say that it is better than using all the GCPs. I could say that in all 4 situations, that is using no GCPs, 1 GCP, and 5 GCPs with my RTK data, it is of equal accuracy as a fully constrained GCP flight. I would also like to mention on the 100 acre flight under RTK only, I cut off the base station with about 15% of the images remaining. This was to simulate what would happen if you lost lock or your base station ran out of battery partway through a flight. I wanted to see how much those checkpoints would degrade in accuracy. So that would be these that I have highlighted here. You can see they are slightly worse, the largest being 61 millimeters out on the vertical, but they aren't as bad as I would have expected. It seems to me that the positioning of the images that are tied into the images that encompassed these checkpoints were able to tighten up the whole network. You'll see that this is the average error of the checkpoints when I look at all of the checkpoints. When I remove the checkpoints that were encompassed by the images that had lost base lock with the drone, the difference is negligible. Besides just looking at the average error, I would also like to point out some of the max errors that I saw. Because at the end of the day, I would be hesitant at quoting an accuracy of a data set without also describing the maximum errors that I saw. I never want to say that a data set is better than the worst possible situation. So with the RTK only flight on the 100-acre site, I saw a maximum error in the vertical axis of 82 mils and 50 in the horizontal. That's with all the checkpoints, 32 and 82 respectively, for the checkpoints removed that did not have base lock. And when I look at the fully constrained GCP network, I see very similar numbers. I'm looking at 56 mils horizontally and 77 mils vertically. So it's a little bit worse horizontally, a little bit better vertically. But again, we're talking GPS data here. I can't really say that one is better than the other. When I look at the RTK flights on the other sites, I'm seeing similar results. A little bit better, but again, not better enough considering we are just comparing RTK GPS rover data here. As I went back and added in GCPs to the RTK only data, I did not see significant increases in errors or maximum errors, as you can see here. So the numbers I'm using to determine my error is the checkpoints only. So whenever I used a GCP, I would exclude that in the averaging of the error. And the thought process there is we are constraining the imagery data at those points, and I felt it would be unfair to use those in the accuracy estimation, as one could suspect that they would have higher accuracy because we are fixing those points. As you can see here, the errors I'm seeing in the checkpoints that are in between the held GCPs are quite significant, as high as 1.2 meters when I'm looking at this particular checkpoint on the 3 GCPs. As I add in more GCPs, these numbers are obviously reduced, and it's a fairly linear scale as I add in one GCP at a time. You can see once I hit 5, we're getting on the verge of acceptable errors. Obviously 30 centimeters is not acceptable for most situations, but horizontally we're not looking too bad here. As we get up to 6, there isn't much difference, but once we hit 10, that's when we see we're within the range of acceptable errors depending on the application. So again, this is 10 GCPs on a 100-acre site. So obviously I can't take that data and extrapolate it to say, for example, if I was to fly a 1,000-acre site, I would require 100 GCPs. Or if I was to fly a 10-acre site, I would require 1 GCP. It's obviously not going to be linear that way, but this is an example that you can use and apply to your particular site that hopefully may be able to help you out. Again, when we went up to 15 GCPs, I did not see an increase in accuracy. So I would venture to say if I went to 20 to 25 to 30 GCPs, I don't believe I would increase the accuracy of my checkpoints. The following week from the initial flight, I went out and decided I would like to shoot in more spot elevations with my RTK rover as an additional check to the elevations I'm seeing from the point cloud. And I chose these spots in between all the ground control points. Obviously, for my RTK only flight, since I didn't use any ground control points, that's not the case. But I did pick points on the very edge of the point cloud where one could expect the highest degree of error, as there would be the least amount of overlapping images in this location. So the results I saw were as expected. The 10 GCPs were slightly worse than 15, but again, we're talking RTK GPS here. I can't definitively say they are worse. They're still within that range of GPS accuracy. And the RTK and the RTK plus 5 GCPs, again, the 5 GCP is slightly better, but for the same reasons, I can't definitively say it's better. Can I definitively say RTK only and a fully constrained GCP network are different? Now we're talking borderline that I might be able to say it's slightly more accurate vertically. So what are the final observations I can make from doing this test? Well, the horizontal accuracy was reduced with a relatively small amount of GCPs versus the vertical accuracy. As I stated before, it did not take a lot of GCPs to get that horizontal accuracy down. So if you only need your ortho image, you should take that into account. You do not need as many ground control points if you're not interested in vertical values. That is to say, you're not looking for a point cloud, you just want an ortho image. On the 100-acre site, after 10 GCPs were placed, the overall accuracy was not significantly improved. 10 GCPs for that site seemed to be the sweet spot. Taking into account all 3 separate RTK flights at the 3 different sites, I could say that the RTK only flights produced as good accuracy as the fully constrained GCP flights. Again, if we're looking at the checks on the RTK only flights, we're sitting at about 2 centimeters horizontally and 3 centimeters vertically. The addition of GCPs to the RTK flight did not significantly improve accuracy consistently. I did see a slight improvement on my elevation checks, but when I look at the GCP checks, I did not see a significant improvement. The adage of RTK flights still require GCPs, but half as many, doesn't fit with what was observed here. The extra GCPs did not help. When lock was lost, those checkpoints were slightly increased in those particular areas by adding in ground control points, but the accuracy was not degraded horrendously when lock was lost. And this lock was lost for about 10 minutes in this situation. I think there was 150 images that did not have base lock with them, and it was still able to resolve their position to within 6 centimeters more or less. The thought process that if you had no GPS metadata on your images and you wish to reconstruct it with half as many GCPs, that would have worked if I only cared about the orthophoto and horizontal accuracy. You can see if you look above, if I only had 5 GCPs and tried to process this without RTK data, I wouldn't want to use that vertical data. We're talking 32 centimeters out vertically and 26 on this particular one. Depending on the situation, that error is not good enough to use. There may be some situations where a foot is good enough, but the majority of the time I would not feel comfortable sending out data when I knew that I could be out by that amount. Of course, that depends on the situation and what the data is going to be used for.